History has shown that when young people organize, engage and lead, they can influence outcomes and drive national progress. 2 years has presented a critical opportunity for Nigerian youth to change the narrative, not by waiting to be invited to the table, but by pulling up chairs and building new tables, leading with integrity, innovation and courage. And to tell us more is Ayomide Ladipo, gender and development expert, as we look at 2027 and what 2023 has taught us. Hello, Ayomide, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening or good morning, as you also said before.
That was it.
Can you hear me?
You shouldn't follow my lead. I mean, I just felt like we're in the morning. You know how it can be sometimes if you're used to being on air in the morning, so you just go with the flow morning and forget that you're in the evening. All right, so once again, thank you. I'm hoping that I can see you in visual. I'm not sure what's going on, but
I'm hoping so too, but I'm a bit under the weather, so the way I look is not so pleasant.
Oh, okay. So we're not going to have. I mean, I didn't have all of that information, but that's okay. Let's talk about the road to 2027. Why the youth should be involved. Do you think that we should be talking about the road to 2027 in 2025?
I think that we should be talking about the road to 2027 even immediately after the 2023 elections, because if there's anything we have all learned about career politicians and grassroots politicians, is that the politicking never stops. Why we think that 2027 is far away, all the scheming, all the planning, all the everything has started right away. And of course, if we are going to make any significant change or significant impact on the current system as it is, we have to be deliberate, we have to be meticulous, and we have to plan appropriately. So there's never a better time than now. We should have even started yesterday.
Well, so it's not about. It's not the issue of time. It's not about whether it's late and all of that. But it's what suffers at the end of it. Because if we begin to have, or the conversation that has already started for 2027, it leaves a lot of work undone. For instance, the issue of governance. We have a budget of 2024 that is running concurrently with the 2025 budget. I mean, these are very critical issues that we should be talking about, because for every time we turn our attention to talk about 2027, it means that the work for 2023 has not been done. So we just ignore the work for 2023 and everyone is focused on the work for 2025. So again, do you think that the youth should rather be involved in 2027 conversation, or be asking relevant questions about how far we're doing with 2023, what's the progress, all of the promises that were made, campaign promises, and all of the election promises, if they have been delivered across the 36 states and the FCT?
Thank you. I do not think it's an either or situation. I believe that we can talk about both simultaneously without leaving one for the other. So yes, we can ask for accountability for the 2024 budget, for the governance for 2025. At the same time, also still put have our eyes ahead on what 2027 looks like, because governance never stops, politics never stops. We cannot say that because we want to ask for transparency or accountability for one part, then we should ignore what is obviously coming ahead the other part. Because if we do in 2026, there's going to be a budget running, there's going to be governance ongoing, same for 2027, but that will not stop the political discussions or the political activities. So I do not think it's an either or situation. I think we can all focus on both situations and do it well.
Okay, so let's talk about youth involvement now. It's very reported that there was a lot of involvement. I mean, young people got involved in the 2023 elections. Voter registration soared among young Nigerians, and the factor that led to that is still very questionable. Even though some people have attributed it to several factors, not a conversation for now. But the voter turnout remained very low despite the online activism. Many failed to show up at the polls. I remember monitoring that election vividly. We saw people playing football on the day of the election across different parts in Lagos State. And I'm not sure it was different in other parts in Nigeria. So exactly what are we dealing with?
So one of my philosophy is to look at our glasses half full and not half empty. Even though voter turnout was lower than expected, we saw what the power of movements and what the power of youth coming together could do in 2023. And I think that's something that we can ride on in 2027, because in 2023, the obedience movement, which got over 6 million votes, that was nobody expected that. That was a third force that nobody saw coming. And mostly because it was a movement that was also strong online, that started online, that was strong online. And a lot of people were like, oh, there's no polling booth online. Online is not, the internet is not your ward or your polling units and all that. But then we saw what movements could canvas into. Same thing with NSAS. So what I think is that it's a journey. It's something that it's a momentum that we can build towards. And if that showed Nigerian youth anything, is that our votes can count, our voices can count if we decide to band together. And I think that's what most people, when you
Hello, Ayomide, can you hear me? Ayomide, if you can hear me, we can barely hear you in the studio here. It looks as though we've lost
if we
connection.
are
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. I'm very optimistic that if we build on that momentum,
Ayomide.
it has shown is that our votes do count, and that is why politicians try to buy it or politicians rig it and all that. So 2023 has shown us that 2020 has shown people that yes, if we canvas on our strengths, we can actually get somewhere. I believe that the 2027 voter turnout will be bigger because there's a lot more at stake for people, especially young people. And then all of us have seen the evidence of what our voices coming together can amount to. Either is for the current administration political party, which is APC, or the other parties or the coalition parties. There will be a lot more, people will pay more attention to youth voices now. And it's not in terms of tokenism as it used to be before, where youth were just galvanized for some block votes and all that. This time around, they will know that our voices really matter because we showed up and showed out in
Do
2023.
young
Like I
people,
like to say, I see our glasses. Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry because it looks as though we live in a divided. I'm not sure what part of the country you and I live in, but you said that our votes, that the young people believe that their votes, actually the 2023 election meant that their votes counted. And that you believe that in 2027 that the voter turnout is going to, skyrocket because there's no tokenism.
It's a skyrocket. So I said it would
Will
be better.
skyrocket. But let's before we get to the other side of the divide, do you really think that the young people thought that their vote actually counted? Did the votes of the people count in 2023?
I'm one of the believers of the fact that the votes of the people counted in 2023. It's a, like you said, it was probably a divide and conquer. But then we had a movement that had over 6 million votes. we had an incumbent who lost Lagos. Nobody saw that coming. And there was no way a Bola Ahmed Tinubu could have lost Lagos if the votes did not actually count for something. So it's now a different situation if you want to check at what level of what's it called, at what how effective that was, because if you looked at the voting patterns and the voting block, you could effectively see that in the south, especially southwest, southeast, and some other places, the youth, it reflected what the youth wanted. It also reflected what people wanted in the north as well. The votes also reflected what the people wanted. So actually, it's just that maybe some people voted more for some particular block of people, for some people than some. But overall, when you look at the voting pattern, the charts and everything,
But
one of the
Ayomide, it was in the
believers.
same Lagos that we were. I don't know if you were in Lagos at the time. Like I said again, I was very active in monitoring the elections, and I could tell you what we saw on the streets and what actually happened. That people were not allowed to cast their vote. A lot of people who turned out to cast their vote were chased out, and the people who chased out these persons were not old people. They were young people. They were youths who were out with machetes, with bottles, all sorts of things, chasing those who have come out to cast their votes in the same Lagos state. I mean, I'm just speaking for
So
Lagos
sorry,
state.
I do not
But
want
this
to talk.
also,
I do not want to talk about. Okay, I do not
but
want to
this
talk
also
about
replicate.
outliers because.
Go ahead.
Okay, I do not want to talk about outliers because you are going to find that everywhere, either in Lagos, either in rivers, or in some smaller blocks of places. But I would say that overall, reflectively, for instance, this is the same Lagos where some people were disenfranchised. It's also the same Lagos where Bola Tinubu, who was a former governor, who is the godfather of the state, also lost as well. Alimosho, he lost Alimosho, he lost some other local government. You can decide to look at the small dots or the small parts of it, or decide to look at the overall big picture. That this tell us. If an online movement or a set of people can amass 6 million votes and the winner of the election got just 8 million votes, it speaks to something. And then the second person also got 7 million votes. It speaks to something that, yes, our votes actually reflected. Because even, I'm very sure, even the obedient movement, everybody did not think that we will get that amount of traction or that amount of votes. It was a shocker. And that's why you see that today, nobody is going to disrespect, or nobody is going to say that any movement that is starting online is a useless movement, or nobody is going to say that there is no polling unit online, because they have seen what that can amount to. So I know the little blocks of what you were saying, but I choose to look at the overall picture that, yes, our votes actually counted and it meant something.
All right. So let's get to this now. Why do you think the Nigerian youth or young people should take the lead? And do you think that the crop of young people that we have, I'm not just talking about those because, I mean, those who are online, those who have access to data and information. I'm saying, why do you think that the Nigerian youth should take the lead, and what group of the Nigerian youth should be taking the lead? Ayomide, can you hear me?
Oh, I think my. Okay, I can hear you now. Lost you for a while.
Oh, okay. So do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
So I'm asking, why do you think that the Nigerian youth or Nigerian youth should actually take the lead for the road to 2027? And what category of the Nigerian youth are we addressing now?
What category, in what sense? I want to understand the context of that.
I'm saying that in the, the category, the type of youths, what kind of youth are we speaking to? Because then again, so let me break it down. It's coming from the premise that if you look at the elections, we're asking that the young people are not participating in elections. They're not part of governance. But if you also want to take it a step back, you will find out that young people are involved. And for some of the havoc that happens during our elections, whether ballot snatching, boxes snatching, and all sorts of violence and threatening of people, all sorts of things that you can think of, manipulating of results, and all of that. There are young people that are carrying this out. We also saw after a while, within 2024, that a lot of people came out to protest to say, hey, the country is actually very hard. The policies are biting hard. The economy is taking a different toll on everyone. And then we saw that if you see the people who go out to protest that, oh, the country is better, contrary against what's going on, it's the young people. So again, I'm just concerned about who are we speaking to now? When you say young people should take the lead, who are we addressing? Ayomide, can you hear me? We'll just take a quick break now, and when we return, hopefully we're able to establish connection with Ayomide, and let's have this conversation. Please stay with us. You're still watching Ways, hashtag what are you saying? And tonight we're saying why the youth should be ready, should participate and lead the course or chart the course for 2027. Ayomide is actually here with us tonight, and she's trying to help us understand why the youth should be involved in the road to the 2027 election. Ayomide, Ladipo, once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, the network has been quite unfavorable for us, but I hope that we can have a smooth connection. So before we had the disconnect, I was asking, why should or how can the Nigerian youth be involved? And if we're talking about the road to 2027, what category of youths are we speaking to, or young people?
Okay, so why should the youths be involved in 2027? I would just like to come from the angle of its life status. I, as an example, in 2015, I was 18, 17, 18, and now 10 years later, I'm 28. I've lived through all the terrible economic policies of the Buhari administration. Now I'm living through the Tinubu's administration policies. I'm still waiting to see if that will turn out fine or not. But then it's years of my life that I'm not going to get back. And so one thing I was also saying to somebody recently, where they were like, oh, Nigerian youth or Nigerians just need to have the chance to be able to vote out or vote in whoever comes into power and does not function. And I was like, that is not a good ideology to have, because we are going to be the biggest losers. 4 years of our lives, if we decide that the power we want to have is to just be able to vote in and just be able to vote out or vote in whoever we like, if they don't perform, is that 4 years of our life is going to be wasted. And then it takes years to reverse terrible economic policies, years that you're not going to get back. So now I've spent my 20s living through very terrible economic policies, and that has set me back. Not just me, I'm just using myself as an example, and that has set us back by a decade that we might not catch up, even if by tomorrow we now we have somebody in power who is going to care about our welfare, who is going to do the right things in both macro and microeconomic policies and all that. But it's still going to take us years to catch up. So I think that youth should think about it in terms of how is this person going to better our lives? Because we saw purchasing power erode, we saw unemployment skyrocket, and things that we would not have experienced, or that the majority of us would not have experienced, if the government in power did what they were supposed to do right. So I think that youth should mostly be concerned because we cannot afford to give away our most productive years to a government that does not care about us, to a government that is failing, and to a government that is not functional. We cannot afford to gamble, because if we decide to gamble, oh, let's just vote this person, or we will vote this person out after 4 years. Oh, that's 4 years of your life that you're not going to get back. That's 4 years of you going through terrible economic policies that is going to set you back compared to your peers in other countries or your peers in working economies. So one thing I would say is that youths, we need to be serious, because this is our life. We are the ones living through. A lot of people are in their 20s or in their early 30s. They can't afford to live alone. They can't afford the basic things, let's say a house or a car. They can't afford to settle down, if I use that word, and all those things that were not there before. People cannot feed appropriately even when they are earning relatively well. So those are the things that the youth must consider, that this is our lives that is at stake, that is on the line. Also, when it comes to insecurity, a lot of people are dying. We've seen the issues in different pockets of the country, from Zamfara to Benue to Kwara, to every part of the country is dealing with insecurity. The southeast, the south, the northwest, the north central, and youths are also at the forefront of all this banditry, or the terrorism, and all the, what's it called, either they call them, some of them, communal clashes and all sorts. So I would say that we are the biggest losers, and of course also we are the largest block of the population, and by 2027 will be like 60% of the population. So anything that's happening in the country, we are the ones that are going to bear the major brunt of it. So that is the exact reason why youth should be like, this is our life, it is a do or die affair. And
So,
when it
so,
comes to,
okay, go ahead.
okay, where you talked about, oh, there are also some part of the, some people, some youths that are on the other side that are being used as tools. I think that that is not going to change. That is not going to stop. It is just weaponizing the situation that has been on ground. And even, of course, even if there is no, even if the country was working, you still have some block of people still working for the other side, if I'll use that word. But the thing is that there are more people on our side than more people in that side. So you would have, we cannot remove that there are going to be youth participating in thuggery, in violence, and all that. What we need to do is to be able to bind the youths that sit at home, the youths that watch from the sides, the youths that watch from the fence. Because if we are able to do that, then we would overpower those people that are being bought, or that are being used for election violence and thuggery. That will not stop. There's going to always be
So,
that Judas. It's
okay.
just left for
I mean, for the want of time, let's begin to get very practical about this now. What should the youth be concerned about? How can they be concerned? How can they take the lead, to 2027? It looks as though after every election cycle year, we just keep going, round and round, and we keep saying, let's just get ready, let's just get ready. So again, I'm asking, what should they be concerned about? Should they be concerned about the elections? What about the elections? Should they be concerned about the electoral, acts and the interpretation of it, or the implementation? What exactly and how exactly should the youth take the lead?
Thank you. So, one of there are so many ways that the youth can take the lead, but one of the things that I also say is that everybody needs to pick which is most easiest or most important for them. A lot of youth are doing different things around the election, around transparency, around holding the government accountable. It's just left for either, or it can be as simple as you lending your voice, you retweeting, you getting your PVC to vote, you demanding, us demanding that we do not want this particular sect of what's it called? like I would say, this particular set of crop of leaders that they are going to put on the ballot. When the youth decided that they did not want either A or B in 2023, we saw how much what would I use? How much support we gave to the C candidates, which it had almost never happened where a third first candidate could speak so much like that. So if we see that either the coalition, whatever the coalition is giving us, or what the current administration is giving us is not, it does not have our best interest at heart, or does not have what we want, we say that this is our own candidate, and this is where we are going to channel our energy and our resources. I think we have already seen how much we can drive movement, and how much power we can change with that. So if we're able to channel that, if we're able to channel our rage, our activism, our energy into deciding who goes on the ballot, into deciding who goes and who stays. And also, one mistake that we have been making is also focusing on the federal and not at the state and local government. A lot of youths, I don't know if we have to do more of reorientation, that we can actually multitask, like I said, and not just put our eyes on the federal. The local and the state also affects us as much. So there's local government elections coming up, example, in Lagos. And then one issue that we have seen is that the LASEC has not published a list of all the contenders, and there's a youth group that has been writing to them, has been calling to them that it's just a week or so to the elections. Can we see a list of what is going on? So I think the energy that we are putting also at the federal, we need to put it at the state, we need to put it in our legislative choices as well, to reflect, because those are where the needle is also moved. If you can move the needle in who you put in for your local government chairman can do a lot for you in your vicinity than the president can do. The president oversees macroeconomic policies, but you can also benefit a lot from what the local government chairman can do for you. So there's also a need for reorientation, and we need to participate in governance at the grassroots level. So one of the things that we should do as youth going into 2027 or going into other years, because local government elections are also happening everywhere this year, is that we need to be more active and pay attention to local government elections, pay attention to state elections, also pay attention to legislative elections, both at the state and at the federal. There's no, what's it called? There's no blanket solution that, oh, once you are able to do this, we are going to get everything. But one thing I believe, that if we can all harness our power, you are here, you are talking about everybody getting involved, you're talking to people, you're participating online, you're going to have your PVC, you're going to have your voice. I am here, I'm also doing my part. Nobody is actually sitting on the fence. The only thing that is going to save us is that everybody is not sitting on the fence tomorrow, and also in 2027, that everybody is actively doing the part, playing the part that they can do. Either by the time, if you don't have a PVC to vote on the election day in 2027, you all go out, maybe you buy snacks or drinks for the people that are voting, you stay with the people that are voting, you form a local vigilante to combat against the thuggery and the violence. Just different part. The only blanket solution I can give is that we all do not watch from the sidelines, and we all do whatever little parts that we can play today, tomorrow, and in 2027.
Well, would like you to join the conversation wherever it is you're listening in from tonight, or watching from, I beg your pardon. Send your messages, SMS and WhatsApp to the number 081-8038-4663. The phone lines are open, it means that you can also call in on the show and be part of the conversation. The numbers to call are 070-2500-77 and 49, or 070-1424-24 and 20. those lines, you can call them, and I'll be right here to pick it. I'd like to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts exactly? 2027 is here. Ayomide is saying that we can't be on this side or the other side. We can talk about both. We can hold leaders accountable and still talk about the issue of governance, because the truth is, for every other time, it's become a pattern for us as a country that after every election, election cycle, you have the conversations almost just immediately. And it looks as though it's like you just finished the race and then you've not even taken time to just relax and settle into the structure and everything. And then you're moving. Or I cite another example, which everyone can relate. So you move into a certain apartment, and then 2 months into it, you've not even lived your rent. You live within the period that you've paid, and you're moving to another house in EiE. It's like you're already planning to move. So you're already calling all of the agents and those who are into the rental business. Let's get there. And what happens? You have not had time to even furnish your house or settle down to clean it and put the furnitures together. That's exactly what's happening with the issue of politics and governance of our country. And so, yes, as much as it feels as though, yeah, it might be okay to run with that concurrently. But again, the kind of youth, Ayomide, that we have, I really don't know. It looks as though we're talking about what ought to be and what should be, because what we have, what I see, it might not be everyone entirely, but the young people that I see in this country don't seem interested. Every day if you go on Twitter, you see the kind of conversations that are being pushed out. You see the things that interest us. You see what we get to talk about. We see the energy. For every time you hear that something happened outside of Nigeria, someone committed a crime, you see the narrative that are being pushed out. When you open the Twitter, you check the profile, you find it's a young person who is just either pushing a religious narrative or an ethnic narrative to the situation of a crime that has happened. They're just... So every other time, we find young people who are just waiting for their own turn to chop the national cake. That's exactly what is going. Not just, at the federal level, but just look at that. Go to different states. As soon as it gets to the buck on the table, nobody talks about anything. Nobody questions whether it's right or wrong. So again, I'm just wondering the young people that we're talking about here. I mean, not to say that, everyone is on this particular boat, but I haven't seen the same young people that when it's time that a lot of people come out to say, hey, what's actually going on is unacceptable. We're asking for justice. We're asking for accountability. You also see the same young people who are coming out carrying machetes and causing the violence and speaking from the other side of the divide. So I'm a bit taken aback. I'm just concerned. I'm just worried. I'm asking the question, what young people are we asking to be involved to take the lead? The young people that are waiting to be handed 100,000 so they can move on to the next thing. Do you see the young people in this country? Let's hear your thoughts again. I mean, if you can hear us, but I'd like you to hear. If you're a young person and you can come and defend of yourself and every other person in your circle, I'd like to hear your thoughts, because the crop of young people that we have in this country, I don't know if they are even interested, if they even understand exactly what's going on, or everybody's just waiting for who is going to hand them the next money, or nobody thinks about the future. A lot of things have actually gone wrong. Not that anybody's asking that there be violence, but if we lived in other climes and if we've seen the things that have happened in other climes, half of that will literally happen if we had young people. So I don't know if the young people are still there. The young people that we're talking to, where are they exactly? Ayomide, do I still have you? Or we've lost connection. For the want of time...
Yes, you still have me.
Okay, so go ahead. I mean, I'd like to share your thoughts on this one as we close the conversation down.
To say
we'll have a few more minutes before we go.
You're being very pessimistic.
No, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being realistic. It's the fact.
You're looking at the other side.
But Ayomide, I and Ayomide, we've had a great conversation. It's a good thing that she's a young person. She's hopeful. And there's nothing wrong to be hopeful about a country. I believe in this entity called Nigeria, and that's the reason I'm seated here tonight. And we'll continue to have this conversation as much as we can. We've been talking about why the young people, Nigerians, young youth should take the lead for 2027, ahead of the 2027. But again, it might also interest us to sit back and look at the things that have happened in this country over time. maybe we'll just pay attention to the 2023 elections. But again, in our climate, in our society, it looks as though we're just bigger on the elections. So all of the focus, which is entirely not wrong, all of the energy is about, let's get out and cast our vote. Let's get out and cast the vote. And mostly it's at the center who becomes the president. And as soon as we get the president elected, we don't care about other parts of the country. Most times you find out that the turnout for the presidential election is always the highest. And then maybe you just not have the same energy just as you had at the presidential election. You might have that for the governorship election, and afterwards everything runs down. But that's not the case. So yes, as much as it's important to, chart the course for 2027, is it not important that we reflect on what's happening in 2023 or what happened in 2023 and what happened after 2023 and what happened in 2022 and what happened, or what happened in 2024 and what happened in 2025 that we're currently in? It's important that we talk about that. And if we're saying that the youth should be involved, it's beautiful, it's brilliant. I mean, I would support the cause that the youth should actually be involved. And then we constantly hear the whole narrative and all of the arguments and the back and forth as to, the youths are not given the opportunity. I ask the question, the young people of this country, the young people that we have in this country, is it the same set of people that we're asking to call the shots, chart the course, lead the course for 2027, or continue to ask for accountability? The young people, if you look at the statistics, you look at the report on drugs and usage, you want to talk about the issue of theft and cybercrime and, fraudulent leaving and all sorts of crime and criminality, the same young people, or the same young people who don't even care about how funds are gotten. You just go on social media, you would see where the heart lies. You will see the kind of conversations that interest us. You will see the kind of things that, is of interest to you, young people. So I'm sorry, Ayomide. I know that the young people should lead the cause. You should lead the cause. You should not even lead the cause for 2027. You should be leading the cause for Nigeria. You should be on top of every issue of this country. From the local government chairpersons, how many young people even know how much is sent to their locality? How much is allocated to their local government areas and council? How much allocation they get? How many young people? How many young people know who those who are representing them at the state level, at the state assemblies? How many young people understand what's going on at the state level? And those who even understand, do they even care? Or they're also just there to get their own share? Probably get an appointment, get appointed as a special advisor, and just get the title and just move on, get your own share. As long as you're getting the salary and your family is fine, you can get a car, get a house, it's okay. How many young people, if given the opportunity, would deliver the goods for the common people? So, I mean, I think that it's no longer news that we constantly ask that young people should lead the cause for this country when the young people themselves are not ready. They're not even interested in the affairs of the nation. Everybody's just waiting to say, oh, it's my turn. When I get there, I don't think that the young people are interested in the affairs of this country. Well, I beg to differ, Ayomide, tonight. Oh, well, Ayomide, if you're still here, because, I'm being told that we need to go. I'm being told that we need to go, unfortunately. Again, we're just here. We're here in the country. Do you ever sometimes sit back and ask yourself that the basic things that we're supposed to have, giant of Africa, we don't have power supply. Does it not bother you as a young person? Every day on my streets in the estates, I see young people, they're just busy carrying jerry cans of petrol, go to the petrol station. We're comfortable buying petrol and just turning on the generator. Everybody's comfortable, even when you're living in the house that you're living in, when they are robbing you and exacting from you. Anyways, I need to go. I'm being told that we're out of time. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Your media as well, thank you so much.